Welcome back to another video where we continue working on the Chevelle. We've got the parts that we ordered to carry on making the exhaust system. We've got the brake valve from Wheelwood, and you might have also noticed it's sitting quite a bit higher than it was before. Look at that, perfect. Big shout out to Cyril, a friend of mine, dropped off these monster axle stands. Get it up a lot higher, saves me rolling around on the floor so much. Absolute lifesaver. Also another big shout out to Fabco, who I ordered all these bends and exhaust tubing from. Come through super quick. Yeah, lovely bit of kit. All mandrel bent. I've got some 45s, a couple of 90s. And then the nice thing with them is you can order, you know, everyone else just does 45 and 90s. And also they don't normally have these tails on them, which, you know, the guys at Fabco provide, which is a lifesaver. But also managed to order a pair of 40 and a 50 degree. I'll explain what I need them for later. Gone with some slip joints opposed to V-bands. Obviously V-bands are nice, but they're just chunky, and yeah, that was one of the problems I had with the old exhaust. That was what was hitting all the time. A couple of lengths straight, and then we've got this new Wheelwood proportioning valve with adjustable bias. You can see that compared to the original one there. Big bit of tubing, explain what that's for as well a bit later. The main reason I've gone for this is I wanted to make the line lock tidy. You'd put it in before this valve, but this automatically adjusts the bias, and if you do that it doesn't like it. It puts the brake warning light on, so then you'd have to plumb it afterwards, blank one of these off, come off, plumb into the line lock, and then tee out of it, and it just was going to look a bit messy. As I've shown, those manifolds run quite close to it, so let's get rid of that, start again with that one, see how we get on. Big bit of tubing, explain what that's for as well a bit later. Along with the added height, I've got all fancy, found a bit of an off-cut carpet in the house. No more having to lay on the concrete floor there, so let's give these a quick sound check. Should sound pretty good on the old V8 Beast. Let's see if we can melt these together, make an exhaust system for it then. So yeah, I said about the 40 and 50 degree angle bends that I've bought. I managed to use or measure them using this neat little tool. It's a household tool for doing like mitre cuts and whatnot, but it's worked pretty well on this, and I'll show you where they're for. So basically where the manifolds to the floor, you'd have thought that'd be just a standard 45 degree bend, which I did originally as well, until I thought, yeah, I better check that. So use this to measure off of there, like that. And yeah, worked out I needed a 40 and a 50 rather than two 45s. Not a huge difference, but you know, I'm trying to make this quite a nice exhaust system, so all those little details should help. I'm going to start off with the left-hand bank. Don't really know why, it's just kind of where I feel like I need to start. So start with slip joint, 40 degree bend, and a flexi. Start making some marks up under there and see what we need to do with this to make it work. Bit more mark that there. Need to add a portion onto there for the slip joint to go onto. So let's take them both off. One piece ready. Should go on there, cleaned up. I'm just going to tack it for now, and then I'll drop the whole lot off and have a bit of a session welding the whole lot together properly. Then saves back purging a bit here and there. So yeah, let's bust out the TIG welder, get that tacked on there. hold that for now. So I've been playing around with how I want this front bit to go. I mean, I'm definitely not a pro compared to some of these guys that make exhaust day in, day out, but I've got a bit of an idea. Key to it is just, you know, try it, measure, try, measure, try and measure, keep trying it on there until you get what you want. That looks pretty good. Flexi is sitting in where there's a bit of a high spot on the floor there. Enables me to tuck it a bit closer to the floor for the rest of it. And then the rest of the exhaust should clear the floor because it hangs lower than that. Let's get this all tacked together and try it again. When I am tacking these bits together, I just put a little bit of masking tape around the joint, hold it right where I want it basically. Plus if you've only got two hands, you could do about 5. There we go, all tacked up and sat on there. You can see what I mean now. Yeah, the flexi just kind of fits in that little recess in the floor there. And if you have a look from the chassis here, you can see it's tucked up. Yeah, it's not... I thought I wanted to get it tucked up inside the chassis, but you know, it's level with the gearbox, which I'm pretty happy with, because if I go any higher than that, then you know, I've still got the gearbox limiting me height wise. So, and to be honest, to get it higher than that, it's going to be in the floor, so it's just unachievable. Yeah, perfectly in line with the gearbox. About an inch gap there, but like I said, I can't do anything about that. So from there I decided to move on to the right hand bank and make the same section up for that side, and then we'd see where we were come to the Crossmember basically. There we go. Both of the front parts of the exhaust system tacked up on there. Might notice that the if I go like this, probably see they're not actually in the same place side to side, which bugs my OCD a little bit. But being a V8, one side of the banks are further back than the other. I couldn't actually make this any shorter to make that go further back that way. Maybe I should have started that side and then made that one there, but then that one fits nicely in that little recess there. So both pretty equal across the gearbox there. Both just under flush of the gearbox, which I think is pretty damn good. Now if I'm going to bottom out, I'm going to rip the sump off my gearbox. That's probably not a good idea, but hey ho. Also got plenty of room to put my wide band in up here on this one. Probably going to put that in there. And that worked perfectly for the plug. So I think there's been a bit of a gap between the footage. I've been busy in the house doing DIY projects, so boring. So the Chevelle's had to take a bit of a back burner, but we're back on it today. Making some more progress with this exhaust. So today we've got to tackle this Crossmember, trying to get through here. As you can see, I made the 2 down parts of flexis. I think I showed that before. But they're literally dead in line with that Crossmember. I don't want to drop below it, I want to go through it to keep it nice and tight. So my solution for this is just grab the pipe. I've got 2 different sizes because I couldn't decide what was going to work best, so best just go trial and error. Got a 3.5 inch bit of pipe and a 4 inch bit of pipe. My plan is one of these we'll cut up, we'll cut the Crossmember, and then piece that in there for the exhaust to come through. So yeah, like normal, I got in a bit of a zone and forgot to pick up the camera, but we're not too far ahead. So let's have a little bit of a look at what we've got up to so far. So yeah, cut the gearbox Crossmember right up. To make sure I get the gearbox back in the exact same place, I've got my little digital angle gauge there telling me what angle I'm at, so then I can make sure I get that back in the same spot, keep my driveline angle how it was. I also added the extension pieces out of the flexies, and this is where the first joint is going to be, and then we'll come through the Crossmember now. Occasionally I get a bit of dumb luck, so I wanted to move the carpet I had on the floor here because I'm going to spot these on there with the MIG welder, and MIG welders make a bit of splatter. Carpet's pretty flammable, didn't want to go with that, so need to move my jack that I was holding that up with, holding the gearbox up with. Bit of tube in there, stuck it in there for as a temporary measure. Put my digital angle gauge on there, and it's actually exactly where I need it. So temporary little jig, perfect. Not the Crossmember you were probably expecting to see. Yeah, plan has changed, as with all projects. Plans change and evolve as you're going along, so this is one of those times. It was just all becoming a bit too much of a bodge on a bodge and a change and a change. I didn't like the idea of it. When I first boxed the frame, I had to shorten it at each end, so there was already a join there, and then I was putting joins in for the exhaust to pass through. It wasn't lining up. Yeah, I didn't like it. So, as if by movie magic, we have a new one. Brand new, made from scratch. Yeah, decided just plan B, make a whole new Crossmember, trying to keep it as simple as possible, and keep it within our floor that we wanted to keep it. It's all tacked together at the moment. I'm now going to fully weld it, then we'll try it back in the car, because I want to then add some gusseting in to add a bit of strength on these joints here, because they're a bit vulnerable at the moment. On there. After putting all that heat into it, welding it, better try it back on the car, make sure nothing's twisted. So let's have a quick look at what it looks like under there. So yeah, hopefully you can see, get a bit of an idea what's going on here. That's where it fits up there, between the two chassis rails. I'll show you the mounts that I've got. Bought these neat little mounts from Stainless Brothers. The Crossmember is mainly made out of 50mm box on these sections here. So yeah, to make my gussets, I'm going to cut out some 50mm strips out of this 2.5mm thick sheet I've got there. To start with, I cut out some long 50mm strips using the angle grinder, and then I bust out the CAD, in this case cardboard A design, to make templates basically to get the sizing I wanted roughly. So then I'd cut strips down to how I wanted them and then tack them all into place. those little braces on. Thought I'd throw it under the car so we can have a look, see how close it all is. It's pretty close, but I think it's going to work. Worst case, I, you know, make a little clearance on the floor because I don't think you'll notice it. But yeah, I thought I'd better try them in here before I fully weld them. Yes, it's close, but it's got poly bush mounts for the body, so hopefully it doesn't move. But if not, that is actually a rib there, so we'll give that a little bit of a fettle if needed. Same this side. Can't see it, speedo cables there. It's not trapped, but yeah, probably a bit more room there. So happy days. Now we've got the main basic structure of it all and the gussets in place. Just gonna got to fill in all the gaps like a jigsaw now. I've already started on this here. Just need a bit of cardboard. And a pen. The easiest way to copy these out, make a shape out of cardboard, we'll cut it out of metal. So let's transfer that to metal, see how they fit and hopefully tack them in. And we've just got those four to do. Bam, just like that, all welded. I say bam, just like that. Probably best part of 3 hours welding that up. Quite a lot involved. Thought, who needs to watch me welding all of that up? So yeah, haven't bothered. But yeah, finally we have a cross member. The simple cross member that I needed just to raise the exhaust up has probably taken me well over a week of messing around to get it right, but completely worth it, because otherwise the whole job of doing the exhaust wouldn't have worked. Finally, we have a cross member that is going to work with the new exhaust system. Woohoo! That's taken some work, but hey ho, needs must. Now we need to figure out our mounting. We're going to mount the exhaust. I think I mentioned with these little Stainless Brothers mounts. I'm going to put one on here somewhere. I'm thinking drill a hole there, insert that in a bit and tack it on there, or tack it in there, hold the exhaust up like that. I'd quite like to do it in here, but where we're doing like an X or a H pipe, I think it's going to get in the way. Excuse the washers, they are just for a mock-up purpose. Yeah, we're going to go on the outside here, like so. So let's try and mark this where we want it. Get that exhaust central in the hole. Got them lined up, got my holes drilled, cleaned that little area up. Had to clean the bosses up as well because they come zinc plated. The TIG welder does not enjoy doing zinc plating. I've also made a bit of a crude little jig here set my height of how deep in I want it. I'm going to keep it in there. Just consisted of 3 nuts and a washer, give me my 25mm stack height I wanted, so I can sit that there and then tack it into place. This is what happens when there's zinc plating on there. It spits, ruins your tungsten. Thought I got it all. They definitely work. I think we're going to call that a wrap on this video. Nowhere near where I wanted to be. I was hoping at the end of this video we would have a full exhaust system tacked up, ready to go. But it never goes that way, does it? So, all good plans and all. But this is, honestly, this is the reality of playing around with cars, modifying them, whatever. All great plans, never quite goes how you want to, especially when you're changing stuff. So, you know, yeah, I don't feel like I've achieved a lot, but in reality I have. You know, we've got the front part of the exhaust system started. We've then made a whole new exhaust, or whole new crossmember, sorry, custom crossmember, so we can flow our exhaust straight through it. And we've got our first mount started. So next video we can we've got a great basis to get going and get it to the back of the car. Hopefully you're enjoying this little sort of series on doing some work on the Chevelle, making this exhaust and whatnot, and the other couple of upgrades. If you are, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and catch you in the next video when hopefully we get to where I want it to be.